is Monday, June 21st, 2021, and I'm calling to order the Parks Commission meeting for the City of Oak Park Heights. And at that point, we'll have an approval of the agenda as it stands.
Yes, I move to approve.
Thank you. Agenda's been approved. We're going to move to the next item is Parks and Trails Commission vacancy candidate interviews.
Okay.
Do we have anyone ready?
We do. So I know typically you do this when we're here in person. We do this kind of in a work session setting,
Right.
but it doesn't have to be a closed meeting. So we'll just go ahead and let Jennifer go ahead and come in, and we'll just go from there. So I'm
Fine.
letting Jennifer in now.
I'm gonna flip to. Hello, Jennifer. Welcome. You have your voice on?
Are you speaking with me?
Yes. Said
Yes, I do.
welcome.
Thank you.
I'd like to introduce you to the people in those little boxes around you. It's sort of a new experience for us to do an interview on Zoom as well. I'm Judith Cheerhart, and I happen to be the chair. And up in the corner is George Heppner, and he is one of the commissioners. The rest are Andy Kegley is, of course, our Public Works Director. Lisa Danielson is in the Public Works field too, and is our arborist for the city. And of course, Jennifer is up in the corner, and she pretty much keeps us all going and running the City Hall crew. And down at the bottom is Carly Johnson, who is one of our city council members and is the liaison for the Parks and Trails Commission with the city council and the mayor. So that brings us to, we're very happy that you applied for a membership. And how we usually do this when it's not COVID is to have you in like a work session with just the board members. And at this point, we're going to do it with just George and myself, and I'm going to ask you some questions. We have your application in front of us. Thank you, Jen, for getting that to us. And so we can go from that, but we'll ask the questions that we ask each applicant. And I'll start with, why do you desire to be a Parks and Trails Commissioner for the city of Oak Park Heights?
Sure. I love our trails and our parks, and we walk as a family. We just walk today. We walk a lot of days. I walk a lot of days. And I'm always kind of trying to sell it to other people that come to Stillwater. I'm new in the neighborhood, and I'm like, we've got the great, and I think we could do a lot more with our trails as far as promoting our city, having festivals or something, not anything huge, but family friendly, walks and things like that, because I think, we have a great city, we have great trails. So, yeah, I would love to be a part of that.
Wonderful. George, do you
Yep. I've got the next question for you. Could you describe a situation in which you worked as part of a team and what part you took and what went well?
I'm usually organizing. I'm in real estate, so if you are good at organizing, become a real estate agent, and you really have to become good at organizing. You have to organize your time constantly in situations, and what fires are real fires and what are things you have to put on the back burner. So I'm good at managing groups. A million years ago, I used to be a medical coder, and there's so much work to do. You have to manage that workload. Kind of the same thing with knowing what's important has to be done first. So as far as part of a team, a medical coding team, getting the parts done that you need to do right now, and then, you know, knowing when things you can get to at a later date. So I suppose I'd be the managing part of it, of a team.
Thank you.
In what ways do you think you can make a contribution to the Oak Park Heights Parks and Trails Commission? You started answering that already.
And be a cheerleader, that's for sure. I love our trails. I've been walking these trails for, I want to say 12 years now. I watched the progression of them putting the bridge in and how the trails were before the bridge and how much better they keep getting. Yeah, and the traffic, you know, I used to be one of the only walkers, me and a couple others on those trails when it was a road here, just when you had the exit that you still got on 36, and seeing more and more people walking on the trail. So I would say I would be a good cheerleader and promoter of our city trails and parks.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, when you look at yourself, what would you say are the strengths and weaknesses that you have that you would bring to the Parks and Trails Commission?
Got a lot of enthusiasm. I guess I see the positive spin on things, how to make things, you know, maybe it's not the way you wanted it exactly, but how can we make something happen? Even if it's, you know, make lemonade out of lemons kind of a situation. So my weaknesses, I suppose, you know, I'm not the best at kind of numbers and analytical things like that. That's probably my weakness, is numbers, and I need to get better at that. But that stuff kind of wears me out faster than getting out face to face with people and talking to people and being socializing and things like that. So analytical things make me tired. So
Thanks.
So what rewards do you expect from your service on Parks and Trails?
I don't know. I think seeing people use it, I think they're so great. We've got so much, you know, our parks are amazing. There's places to have birthday parties, and I mean, they just put the new building down here by my house. I live on the other side of 36 by the overlook on Peabody and Upper 61st Street, and they put that new building down there, and beautiful. I don't know. We have a great city. I like to promote it. That's a reward in itself. I don't need like a reward, you know, so.
And I see that you are currently on the Planning Commission. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you do have some background with City Hall and.
Yeah, I was surprised. I saw that a little while back. I've been on the Planning Commission since 2017. That surprised me. So.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you so much for that. Do you have any questions for us?
What are your meetings like? I guess, how are they different than the Planning Commission and the City Council?
Well, one of the things, an important difference is that we are an advisory board, if you will, without the same kind of responsibilities that the Planning Commission has. Mm-hmm. That's why Carly is so important part of our organization. She's at every meeting and she brings messages to us, but she also carries our recommendations and that kind of thing back with her to her city council meetings, which are twice a month. Mm-hmm. And so it's an interesting difference in that regard, in a sense, perhaps. we don't have as much direct power because we're advising the Parks and Trails advises City Council. Beyond that, it still is like with anything that truly is a volunteer position, you got to have heart for it, and that sounds like you do. So that's an important part for us. Any other questions, George?
Well, no, but I would just add to that. I think, listening to your neighbors, they're the ones that tell me, we need this or we need that, or wouldn't it be nice if we had a dog park? And so you bring up a dog park and somebody says, oh, no, we can't do that. And here are the reasons that we can't do that. So and then I go back to my neighbors and say, well, here are the reasons, we can't do stuff like that. So I think it's being a listener to your neighbors once people find out you're on the Parks and Trails Commission. No, other than that, I don't have anything, Judith.
And then that's a very good comment and observation, George, because that's true. Every time they know a meeting's coming up, the neighbors and even farther afield friends in the area and do make suggestions that really help us, to know what's going on in these parks, because we can't possibly always know everything about each park. So thank you. Our difficulty right now is that George and I do not make a quorum. It's a 5-member commission, and so we're going to get back to you with our decision after we do a couple more interviews, and we thank you for your interest and consideration of joining us. So thank you very much. If you have any questions for us beyond that.
No, just thank you for the opportunity to interview. I love the parks, like I said, and I just think we could do so much promoting ourselves, and we have I just think it's amazing. I just go out my door and I've got all these trails. It's amazing. You get to say hi to your neighbors, and
Isn't that wonderful? Yes.
Yeah. So thank you for the time.
Thank you very much. There we go.
Okay, that went really well. And then your next candidate is Annie Barris, and she is ready to go. Are you ready for me to admit her?
I want to ask one question of you, just because Jennifer was currently on the Planning Commission. I assume that she can't be on both.
Actually, there isn't anything in any of the bylaws that says she cannot be on both. So
interesting.
Yeah. So apparently it doesn't constitute a conflict, and so she certainly could.
Okay, interesting. I need to know that. Because it was on. Annie is next, and she did a lovely application, really, very detailed, and that's always sort of nice. It gives us a little more to go on. But you already know our first candidate, so we're going to just go from there. Are we okay?
All right, I will let her in.
Thank you. Hello, Annie.
Hi.
Hello. My name's Judith Tierhart. I happen to be the chair of the Parks and Trails, and I want to introduce you to the other people shown on your screen. On my one corner is George Hepner, and George has been on the Parks and Trails for what, a couple of years now, George?
Couple of years, yep.
Yeah. And but these are the only two that are with us tonight, is myself and George.
Okay.
The rest of the crew here, Carly Johnson is our liaison. She's on the city council, and she goes back and forth with all of our suggestions and wants and needs, and then brings the advice and decisions from our city council back to the commission. In the middle is Andy Kegley, and he's the director of all public works. Lisa Danielson is on his side. Lisa is our city arborist and also works closely with Andy on all the parks information, and they are at every single one of our monthly meetings.
Okay.
So, and up in the corner, of course, is Jennifer and Pinsky, and she keeps us all going because she pretty much runs City Hall for us and is very good at her job.
Yes.
So she's in charge of even our Zoom meeting tonight. So anyway, what we have done in the past without COVID would have been to bring you to one of our meetings, and after the official meeting where you could at least see how we sort of operate in normal times, then we would take you privately with the commissioners and do an interview. And so right now, that's why you're here with the rest of us. And like I say, I apologize, it's summertime, and that's why some of our commissioners are missing today with vacations and whatever is going on in their lives. But so we won't be able to make a decision right on the spot, but we appreciate you taking time to meet with us on this weird Zoom thing. And what we'll do is George and I will ask you some standard questions that we pose to all applicants, and then answer any questions you have to. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So first of all, I gotta change to my page. Thank you, Jennifer, for getting this all put together for us. Simple question, really, but a big one. Why do you desire to be a Parks and Trails Commissioner for the city of Oak Park Heights?
Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me. It's so nice to put some faces with actually a few names that I've been hearing about. Just Carly, that's amazing. I've just been reading about the 5K you've been putting together. And then Mary Korea said you were up here, and she said that you're amazing. So it's nice to put some faces with names. I want to be appointed to the Oak Park Heights Commission because I want to get everyone outside. It's truly something I believe in, and I feel like this would be a good place to start. And I want to challenge myself in different ways. I feel like I don't challenge myself enough, and I'm so nervous to even be in this interview, but something I'm really passionate about, and I think I can bring that to the table.
Thank you. George?
Yep, I've got the next question for you. Could you describe a situation in which you worked as part of a team? What role did you have, and what went well in that group?
Yeah, there were so many examples. Have been having worked since I was 15 years old. I've always worked really hard in so many places, and I was always put in these positions where people trusted me to be a lead in, I can say, I'm trying to think of, there's a lot of examples right now that are going through my head, but down at the Stillwater Boats, I worked there for about 6 years, and I would be in charge of the events that happened, and I would in charge of the people and safety for weddings and all sorts of events. And then as far as working in the early childhood area, preschools, I've been teaching and in charge of staff and training and 10 kids. But I believe I've always been put in these positions because I have the ability to take lead. I also have the ability to step back and listen. And I think that's important to note as well. I can listen, and then where I know I need to lead, I'm able to step into that position, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Well, if you worked on the Stillwater boats, my son did that about 20 years ago. And he said it was the most fun he ever had
It was.
working. He's an elementary school principal now, and he says that's not nearly as much fun as it is working on the boats.
What's his name?
Andy Hepner.
Yep. No.
He was probably there before you, but
Okay.
he was working for Dickie Anderson, so I'm sure you had fun down there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. They put me in a lot of roles down there. I remember one time, for example, there was a group of children coming on, and I said, okay, I was in charge of the boat, and I made sure I said, everybody take the salt and peppers off the tables. And Dickie's like, why? And I'm like, well, you don't want to find out because kids like to unscrew salt and pepper shakers. And after that, he really liked that I was able to think ahead and plan accordingly for that age group. And after that, he actually put me in the office. And that meant a lot to me because most people, if you know, only Andersons usually work in the office.
Yep.
Oh, that's a great answer. Now I have, in what ways do you think you can make a contribution to the Oak Park Heights Parks and Trails Commission? What can you add?
Hope to contribute my positive attitude and hard work ethic. I would, with this passion that I have already for nature and the Parks and Rec and trails, Parks and Trails, I should say, I use them all the time. I have a 20-month-old son, and I just am just so passionate about being outside. I'm at one of those parks every day of my life, I promise you. But with that dedication, I can work hard and go above and beyond, and I like to make things work, and I do it because I'm passionate and I love it.
Good. Thank you. George?
Yeah, what particular strengths do you have in any of the jobs that you've worked, and what would you see as weaknesses that you might have that you want to develop and grow?
Kind of like what I've mentioned so far. It's just, I would say, from what I hear back from bosses is that I'm positive and I like to make things work. And that actually might be a weakness as well, because I really try to think outside the box and get to the big picture. And sometimes it just might not be able to happen. And I have to understand that as well. But I will do everything and think outside the box and be creative, like I said, first.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. What rewards do you expect to gain from your service at Parks and Trails?
The experience would be unbelievable, and just to have to be in a valuable seat on the board I would be very proud of myself, and I guess I would just, since I'm just so passionate about it, it would make me so happy to be a part of something that I believe in so much, and I want to bring that adoration like to my communities. I've grew up here. It's always been huge to me, and I want to be a part of that and share that love for it.
All right. Thank you for that. George, I know you have Annie's application in front of you. There might be something else that might catch your eye and support another question. Otherwise, go ahead.
No, I could. I was interested in learning what nature-based teaching certificate was.
Yeah, so I just finished that actually a month ago, and it's early childhood nature-based teaching. I already have my early childhood degree, and I really want to focus on getting every child outside. And I think that's where they grow and thrive, and not in books. That's just what I believe currently. And I think with this COVID, a lot of schools are actually transitioning outside. So I would like to, that's a whole other meeting that I probably could have, but with that certification, it would be I'm trying to make it in a sentence, but there's a lot to say about that. But I guess my next step, I really want to have a nature-based school, nature-based nature school, and it would be for birth through 8, and to work with children specifically outside in the parks.
Okay. Thank you so much. Do you have any questions for us?
So the only one that I have to be honest about, that I'm a little worried about, is that I really wanted to apply for the Parks Coordinator program in August. And I'm wondering what that means as part of being on the commission as well. If you're a part of the commission, are you able to be on city, working for the city?
Okay, I can answer that question for you. So you can't be on the commission and be a summer park programmer at the same time. So, but you know, if you do get chosen to be on the Parks and Trails Commission, and then you do get selected to be as a park summer program coordinator, then you could just withdraw your seat from the Parks and Trails Commission. So I wouldn't let that discourage you from continuing to try to be on this board. You could withdraw your seat, take that position, and then at least you'd still have that experience and could then, maybe come back to the Parks and Trails Commission at a future date.
And even if I were to apply for the position and I were to get accepted, it would still be important to me to be involved with parks if I were accepted.
Yeah, and so I know Gina. She's the current Parks coordinator, and she often is invited to this meeting. Everyone on this board knows her. She comes to our meetings. Yeah. She lets us know what her programs are. She gives us updates on attendance, all that kind of thing. So you would still be very active with this board.
Right, because I still, as much as I would, that's my dream job, of course, but I would love to, I think they kind of go hand in hand, and I would still love to be doing that, but bringing being a part of the parks and bringing in other older community, if that's it, or.
Gotcha.
No matter what happens in the near future, you're always welcome to attend meetings. We wish more citizens did. Of course, COVID has changed that, but you can even sign up, Jen, isn't that true, Jennifer? That to get the Zoom address and all of that good stuff, and be here as a citizen, a taxpayer. That's important for us to know what's happening beyond our sort of somewhat rules related sphere that we have to go. Yeah. So don't push us aside anyway. We'd love to have you come and share your ideas. And
I was wondering, because did you guys have a meeting before me?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I know it's the third Monday, so it
is, but we're going to continue with one after you. But right now we don't have a quorum with just George and I here. So it's going to be a very short kind of thing, go over a couple little things and be out of here right away.
Okay.
Because we can't make any decisions and vote on anything.
Right, without,
yeah.
So, I understand that.
Generally speaking, and there's a few times during the year, middle of winter for one, there's not a lot for us to do at every 30 days, kind of thing. And so once in a while, it'll be called as like once or twice a year, perhaps, that we don't even meet on the Monday night because it's just nothing that really needs to be discussed and moved on that quickly, especially, like I say, in the winter months. Andy and Lisa stay really busy, and so does Jennifer and Carly, but the rest of us get to back away a little bit. But okay. You're always welcome to come and living here and enjoying the parks. We need that kind of recommendations even that come from people who are there more often than we can be.
Right. that's what's so important to me. I would love to listen to the community, and I love hearing and listening, I guess, to hear
Good
what everyone
enough.
has to say. So in to get involved with the meetings as well, I just asked for a Zoom code, or is that online? Because I couldn't find them online.
Okay, yeah. So if you go to cityofoakparkheights.com, and then if you hover over the, I think it's called government tab, and then you'll see agendas and minutes, and then you have to
Yeah,
click
yeah.
Parks and Trails Commission. And then you'll see the agenda on there, and there is a link on there. Otherwise, Annie, you have my email address, and I'm the one that creates the Zoom link and creates the agendas for the Parks and Trails Commission. And I can just put you, if you want me to, I can just put you on a list that I just send
Oh, I
out.
would love that.
I can do that. Let me make a note of that, and I'll just put you on a list to send that out every month, so you don't even have to go in and look for it.
Thank you so much. Some
the
reason
one-
I don't know if it's my computer, but when I was clicking on it, it would say download, but then when I tried to open it,
Oh,
nothing would happen. So I'm not sure.
okay. I'll look at that. One thing to note is the Parks and Trails Commission actually hopes to start meeting in person, starting actually with their next meeting. So we,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yay,
if-
that must be.
Yeah.
Right.
So I
That's
will
really
definitely
awesome.
still keep your email on the list and send you the agendas, but we might not have a Zoom link if everyone's feeling comfortable and it works out that we meet in person, then we'll just have our meetings here at City Hall.
Okay.
Hooray.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we,
that's really exciting for you guys.
Okay. Thank you, Annie.
Thank you. Have a good night.
I,
Bye.
Okay, we're back. Jennifer, is there anything else we can accomplish, or?
yeah, Judith, you can go ahead and have your department and commission liaison reports, because you don't need to take any action on anything there.
Okay.
Otherwise, that would be it. The rest of the stuff on the agenda were just placeholders in case you had any action you wanted to take. And since we can't take any action, then you would just
Right.
go ahead and adjourn the meeting. So-
Okay, we can do that. And we really don't even have to approve the minutes of the last meeting. We'll just do that in
Next.
sequence next time, right?
Yes, I will bring them back for your next meeting, and you can.
Wonderful. Easy,
Mhm.
easy. Let's have our liaison reports, and the first one is from Lisa.
Yeah, just a quick update on the prairie maintenance, I guess, for tonight. On June 2nd, Minnesota Native Landscapes was able to do the first of the 3 weed control visits at Swagger and Valley View, the prairie sites there. So yeah, that's it that I have.
Thank you.
Yep.
And Andy, Public Works Director.
Yep, I really have nothing significant to report other than what we discussed at the walkthrough event. Per usual, I will compile those notes and put them in a spreadsheet format for you to discuss and rank at a future meeting.
Thank
So
you
for
very
that
much.
for next month.
Yeah. And Carly?
I have a couple things to kind of get the announcements on. First is the community garden. I had Eric send out a picture of the sign. We're going to get that installed. I think right now we're just going to put it on some posts with some concrete so it's movable, depending on where we ultimately put that community garden, if we keep it there or move it. We've had 3 people sign up for community garden beds. Only 1 person has planted so far. And then the community planter that's at City Hall is full. It has basil and jalapenos as well as cherry tomatoes. And that's been going pretty well. Other than that, the walk run has been pretty successful. We've had 8 people do both the 5K and 10K and submit photos. Because of the extreme heat the past week, we did extend that all the way to the end of the month. And hopefully we'll have more people.
Yeah, well, that's a real wise thing to do. So good for you for thinking of it. Any other questions or concerns? Otherwise, we're going to look forward to talking to the rest of our group about the interviews we did tonight, and they get to watch, look at them, and we'll go next time. So informational is get to know the parks virtual walk one event, as you said, was extended through June 30th. That's good to know. Next meeting of this group is Monday, July 19th at 6 p.m. And it is still a possibility that we will be able to meet in person by that meeting. And who does make that decision, Jen?
Excuse me, the city council makes that decision, and I believe they already have made that decision. Am I right, Carly? That was a motion that was made at your last meeting?
Yep.
Okay, so unless something crazy happens, we will be here in person, and if something changes, I will definitely let you know. And that something would probably be an outbreak or someone gets sick or something like that. But barring any of that, we'll see everybody here in person at City Council chambers. It's going to feel exciting, different, strange, but it'll be good.
Absolutely. Just want to thank you for always keeping this thing going. The Zoom has been challenging at times, but you've made it so easy to manage, especially for us, we seniors who aren't as up on all the technology and that kind of thing. You've been great about the whole thing. Made it seem easy for us.
Well, you've made it look easy. You guys have done a great job. We
Thank
got through it.
And there's an upcoming council meeting Tuesday, June 22nd at 6 p.m. City Hall and Zoom. For that one is how it's on here. But that's just, well, that's today.
We're
sorry.
doing a hybrid model tomorrow. So I
Okay.
think the mayor and I will be remote, and then the rest of the council members will be in the chambers for the meeting.
Oh, interesting. Good chance. All right. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Adjourn.
It's been motioned and passed. We are in adjournment. Thank you.
You all, and
Night.
I will certainly pass along this recording to the rest of the commission so they have an opportunity to listen to our applicants, and so you can have a nice discussion at your next meeting. And maybe what I'll do is we'll set aside just a few minutes before we start the meeting, maybe for a little catch up and
That'd
chatting, and then
great.
okay,
Yeah, good idea.
okay, sounds
Very
great. Well, we'll see you next month.
Thank you, all of you.
Recording stopped.